Hello, this is Mr. Price, and this is the video on the Year 8 Unit 6 on metric conversions. There are 3 stages to these questions, and they vary in difficulty. Now, the Stage 1 questions all involve at least one conversion which doesn't have a prefix. So you've got a meter, a litre, a gram, a meter, and a gram. So all of these have at least a value without a prefix. Okay, so these are the easiest ones to do. Okay, because if you know where milli is, where kilo is, and where centi is on the place value table, you just multiply or divide by that number. So let's start off with the first question. Now here I want to go from 1 meter to 1 millimeter. So I know milli means a thousandth. Okay, if you think of the word millennium, that's 1,000 years. If you think millipede, that's 1,000 legs. So milli means 1,000. So now all I need to work out is when I need to multiply or divide by 1,000. Now obviously if you've got one big unit, you're going to have more smaller units because more fit into them. So I'm going to want to multiply. So my answer is 1 times 1,000, 1,000 millimeters. This one here, I'm going from 1 litre to milliliter. Once again, milli means 1,000 and I've got no prefix here. So all I need to do is put my scale factor, 1,000. I've got one big unit, so I'm going to have lots of smaller units. So lots of is multiply. 1 multiplied by 1,000, that's 1,000 milliliters. Okay, this one I have 1 kilogram and I'm going to just a normal gram. So here I know that kilo means 1,000. Okay, so my scale factor, as I've got no prefix on here, is 1,000, and because I've got one bigger unit compared to a smaller unit, it's going to be multiply, and once again my answer is 1,000 grams. Okay, these ones are not quite so obvious, but practically the same thing. So here I'm going from millimeter to meter. So milli I know means 1,000, there's no prefix here, so my scale factor is going to be 1,000. Now the question here is whether I multiply or divide. Now if I've got a small unit, then it's obviously going to be a fraction of a larger unit. So I'm going to want to divide by 1,000. Okay, and on the side here I'm going to put my 1. And at the moment the decimal point is here because that's 1 unit. Now to divide by 1,000, it's easiest if we think of it as a decimal point moving, even though I know that the units are actually moving, but it's easier to move one decimal place than it is to move lots of numbers. So it's going to move over 1, 2, 3 times, because it's 1,000. Okay, and in each arch I'm going to put in a 0 and before it as well. So it's going to be 0.001 meters. Okay, and finally I'm going from centigram to a gram. So I know that centi means 100. Okay, now here I've got a centigram which is bigger than a gram. Okay, so I've got a larger unit, so there's going to be more smaller units. So I'm going to multiply by 100. 1 multiplied by 100 is 100. So 1 centigram is 100 grams. Okay, let's have a look at the stage 2 conversions. Now this time, once again, I only have conversions which has a non-prefix value. So once again, these aren't too bad to think about. So, but this time I'm dealing with numbers that aren't 1. So So I'm going from milli to a normal meter. So my scale factor is going to be 1000. Now, because I've got a smaller unit, I'm going to have fewer of a bigger unit. So I want to divide by 1000. Now, our decimal point is currently here. I'm going to move it 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So my answer is 1.2 meters. This question, 0.32 kilograms. So kilo means 1000. Okay. So the question is again, do I multiply or do I divide? Well, I have a large unit going to a smaller unit, so I'm going to have more of the smaller unit, so I'm going to multiply by 1000. So here it's going to move 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So there's going to be a 0 in the gap, so it's going to be 320 grams. Okay, this question, I've got milli, so that's 1,000th, so 1000. Okay, I've got a smaller unit compared to a bigger unit, so there's going to be fewer of the larger unit for the smaller one. So it's going to be divide by 1000. So divided by 1000, 1, 2, 3. Decimal points now here, 2.318. Penultimate question for stage 2. Centigram to a normal gram. So I know centi means 100th. So my scale factor is 100. Now I've got a larger unit compared to the smaller unit. So there's going to be more of the smaller units. I want to multiply by 100. So that is 4 grams. Okay, now let's look at the stage 3 questions. Now these ones are slightly more difficult as you've got slightly more unusual scale factors and you're no longer going to non-place values. So, sorry, not non-place values. You've got all the units that don't have no prefixes. So you've got to think more carefully. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. I'm going to do the slow and steady method. So I'm going to go from decigram to a gram first, and then I'm going to go from a gram to a hectogram. Okay, so I'm going to do it in 2 stages. So I know to go from decigram to a normal gram. Deci means a tenth. Okay, so the scale factor is going to be 10. So 1.45. Okay, my scale factor is 10. Now I need to just think, is it going to be multiply or divide? When I'm going from a smaller unit, deci, to a larger unit, which is gram, so it's going to be divide by 10. So that's going to be 0.45 grams. And now I want to go to hectogram, which means 100. So my scale factor is 100. I'm still going the same way. I'm still going to a larger unit. So I'm going to divide by another 100. So that's going to be 1, 2. So it's going to be 0.0045 hectograms. Okay, this question, going from centiliter to kiloliter. So once again, I'm going to go from centiliter to a normal litre first. So 0.32. Now I know centi means 100th. So my scale factor is 100. And again, I'm going from a smaller unit to a larger unit. So I'm going to divide by 100. So that's going to be 0.0032 litres. And now I need to go to kiloliter, 1,000. So I'm now going to divide by 1,000. So I'm going to get, keep careful with my values here, so 0 point, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, and then 3, 2. kilolitres, a very small number. So we'd probably rather have this in the smaller unit because this is a lot more annoying to write. Okay, next question. Millimetres to kilometres. So first I'm going to go to meters. So 1, 2, 8, 6, 9. I'm going to meters. So I know milli means 1,000. Now I'm going from a smaller unit to a larger unit. So I'm going to again divide by 1,000. So I'm going to get 12.869. And now I'm going to kilo, which also means 1,000. So I'm going to divide by one more 1,000. So I'm going to get 0.01289. Okay, penultimate question here. So I've got 0.53 decalitres. So let's go to a normal amount of litres. Now I know deca is 10 litres. Deca means 10. And a decalitre is larger than a normal litre. It's exactly 10 litres. So I need to multiply that by 10 because I'm going from a larger unit to a smaller unit. So that's going to be 5.3 litres. And now I'm going from a normal litre to a decilitre. So again, there's 10 decilitres in a decalitre. Sorry, wrong. There are 10 decilitres in a decalitre. So I multiply by 10. And I'm going to get 53 decilitres. And I apologise if I might have said one of those wrong units in there. Okay, the final question. Now, really good job if you look this question up. Now, this means nano, and that is exactly 1 with 9 zeros. Okay, that's the scale factor for that one. If you look it up, that's what that value is. So I'm going from a smaller unit to a larger unit. So to divide by this number. So the point's going to be exactly 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Put a 0 in all the arches. So I end up with 0.000123868 meters. It's not a huge number at all, and this unit is not particularly suitable. Okay, don't forget you can ask me any questions about any of these in class. Thank you very much.